So, I thought because, as everyone knows, who is in the kind of F1 circle, that it is come round to the time where we like to look back on certain people and certain inspirations to us ever getting into or watching or sometimes listening to Formula One. And I thought it would be a good time to talk about one of the reasons why I started watching Formula One. Um, Now, a lot of us know as well that it is the very sad. It's a very sad point in Formula One history that it marks 25 years since the death of Ayrton Senna a couple of days ago. So I thought really we would have a little chat between us, a little chat from me about some certain things that people might not know. A little bit of a reason why I liked Ayrton Senna, why I feel he's probably one of the best we've had. So yes, 25 years. 2 days ago was it?
It was on the first, so yes, 2 days ago. It was Wednesday.
2 days ago. Marks the 25th anniversary of death. And quite a few fans went to Imola to mark the sad anniversary, which was quite nice. There were lots of flowers. There were people even dressing up in race suits. Some people bring in helmets. There were some nice pictures of people placing helmets down on grid slots. I thought it was a nice and happy-ish mark to someone who was somehow bigger than Formula One in his own little way. So, yeah, I thought I'd just say a few little facts that some people might not necessarily know about Ayrton Senna. So, first of all, he didn't actually get into karting until he was 13 years old. Like, in these days, that's old. You're over the hill, 13 years old. That's pretty much, you're not getting in, mate. There's the door. And also, when he was young, he was actually treated for a motor condition at the age of 3. He had trouble climbing stairs. So it didn't really have the prospects to be the kind of person that he actually, was in later life. However, on his first race, now I don't know how true this is. It could have been first professional race, but apparently he qualified in pole position. He didn't convert it, but he had to retire from the race later on. Moving on very quickly, he obviously had a bit of a torrid time getting into Formula One, moving through the lower ranks of Formula Ford and all of this to try and make his name to get into Formula One. And his name was quickly spread throughout the whole racing world. Everyone knew this rising star of this Brazilian man who left no quarter and left it all on the track. And pretty much, if you're going toe to toe with this man, you get out of the way or you're going to crash. But he didn't enter Formula One the normal kind of way. He did it a little differently. So he joined Tolman, so a new-ish team, despite testing for big teams like Williams, McLaren, and Brabham. But little Senna decided, actually, you know what? I don't want to do it that way. I want to do it the hard way. So he joined Tolman, and only, I think it was 2 years. Was it 2 years, Jamie? Or 1 year? 1 year, I think, at Tolman.
1 year after Tolman, then to Lotus, yeah.
Yeah, so 1 year with Tolman, an amazing drive at Monaco that actually remains one of my favourite ever Formula One races. Then on to Lotus, where it took him a couple of races, or maybe even a year or so, before he won his first race in Portugal. Was it Estoril, his first race?
I wouldn't know off the top of my head, no.
Pretty sure it was Estoril where he won his first race. No, it might not have been. Anyway, it was Portugal where he won his first race. Famously in the wet, there was water everywhere, and I just remember him taking off those straps and getting. Well, I didn't actually watch it, but remember seeing him taking off his straps and driving around the last couple of laps with no safety bits on, just going absolutely mad, which is pretty crazy. So yeah, it wasn't a normal entry, or at least from someone of such like a respected standpoint where he was at that time, just to jump straight in and think, you know what, actually I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to go to the back and work my way forward. I don't want to do it by going to the easiest team and winning straight away. I want to earn it. And that was quite good. That kind of stood out for me. I thought that was a good way to enter Formula One. These days, I guess people just try and get in how they can. It's, people try and get into whatever team they can. But anyway, during his rise up the ranks, he had quite a few collisions on the track. He wasn't always known to be the cleanest drivers. He collided with Mansell once in the 1987 Grand Prix, and apparently an angered Mansell greeted Senna in the pits and grabbed him furiously by the throat. I haven't seen this. Have you?
Yes. Yeah, I've seen
Have
that.
you?
Yeah.
Absolutely mad stuff. Apparently, people who have watched Formula One for a long time will have known some of the greatest ever wins or laps that Senna had put down. His ability to control the car in any condition is what separated him from the greats. One stands out for me, at least, is the 1991 Brazilian Grand Prix, where he finished without shifting towards the end of the race. So his gearbox failed. I think he lost third, fourth, fifth. I think he was almost driving lap after lap in sixth.
He was stuck in sixth gear. Yeah.
Was he stuck in sixth? Yeah. And he managed to get the car round and finish and win. He had to be lifted pretty much from the car. And if you've seen the movie Senna, where he is greeted by everyone in the paddock, he literally cannot be touched because he's in so much pain. He's in agony because of what he had to put himself through to get the car round to win his home Grand Prix. Another point that stands out for me, there are a couple of these. Another point that stands out for me, the footage of him during the 1992 Belgian Grand Prix, where he jumps out to save the French driver. I don't remember his name. I can't remember his name.
Was it Boutsen?
I don't know his name. Google if you want to get it. He jumped out anyway. It's a famous scene of him jumping out the car, disregarding everything of his Eric Comas? I don't know. Disregarding his own safety completely, running out into traffic and helping this man out of the car and probably saving his life. And the thing that really sticks in my mind is on the day that he did finally lose his battle in the car, he had an Austrian flag folded up, and the medical team found it because he was going to raise it in honour of Ratzenberger after the race. So yeah, little things that stand out for me that really show that I don't think any sportsman ever in any walk of sport, even the Arleys, the Pelés, have ever been bigger than the sport themselves in the way Senna was. Bigger than politics, even bigger than football in his home country of Brazil. Without a doubt, the greatest man to ever turn the wheel, and will be, for me, the greatest person ever to sit in a car.
Absolutely. Well said. Yeah, if I could just take over a little bit from there.
Sure.
It was a lovely piece.
Thank you.
To him. Yeah, it was obviously one of the saddest days in Formula One when he passed, but he was a man that lived his life on the track at the absolute limit.
No
quarter, a man
literally.
That traversed all boundaries of sport, as you say. He was a man that was touted to be future president of Brazil. He was a man that, towards his later career, was building schools and facilities for children worse off in a time that Brazil was completely riddled with poverty and imbalance in the society, and he was someone that saw his opportunity and his success in Formula One as an opportunity to really make a difference in the country that he loved so much, and someone that would have done great things if he wasn't cruelly taken from us at the age of just 34. On the track, he is the most fearless and quickest driver there has ever been. There is no doubt about that. What he did in an age of manual gear shifts and no power steering just defies belief sometimes, especially when you see his physical stature. And was a personality that you just do not see in sport, let alone Formula One anymore. Someone that was so in love with driving and the sport and had no interest in the media or the limelight, and was just an incredible talent. To go a little over the weekend of 1994, obviously it sprouted some of the biggest changes to safety Formula 1 has ever seen, and until the unfortunate death of Bianchi in 2017 prevented any serious injury to drivers between that because of the safety. And I want to share a little story that I always remember of Senna, which is between Professor Sid Walkins and him. They were great friends, and of course, Sid Watkins. Sorry, Professor Sid Watkins was the medical, the doctor for Formula One that used to go around in the medical car for nearly 40, 50 years, and they had a great relationship, and they were all for the side of safety. And obviously, after the tragic death of Roland Ratzberger and the big accident of Rubens Barrichello over that weekend, there was a conversation between the two of them before the start of the San Marino Grand Prix. And Sid Watkins just said to him, you know, you and me, we've done enough. We could just go off now, you and me, go find a nice quiet place and go fishing. We don't need to do this. And Senna turned around and said, I need to do this for Roland. And that's the last time those two ever spoke. And I think that epitomises the kind of relationship and the opinion of people of him from Sid Watkins' side, and Senna's attitude towards racing and his fellow competitors. And it was a sad moment. But it's one that will forever live on in the sport, and the changes made in his honour and the memories of his races will traverse generations. And it's a sad thing to think that it was 25 years ago, and where he would be now. He would have only been 59, and I'm sure would have been quite something special either in Brazil or in the world of Formula One. Right? Can
you imagine him like managing or this being the same kind of driving force that we have like Prost and Lauda at Mercedes and at Renault, but instead at McLaren?
Yeah, there's a very real possibility he could have done that. Obviously, the political side of things is what we all expected him to maybe go into. But I think Formula One would have dragged him back at some point. But that's the saddest thing, of course. We just don't know. And we were robbed of what could have been one of the golden eras of Formula One as well, with him and Schumacher. That would have been some fight to see. But it's sad. Final pointer for that, I would say, you don't know what it is in your country, but Formula One TV. This is not an advert. The F1 TV service, which in some countries gives you access to watch the races live, but in most countries it just gives you access for, in this country at least, it's £2.60 a month, and it gives you access to the archives of Formula One, full races, highlights of select full races, but highlights. Full broadcast highlights with the original commentary of every race back to, I think, 70s. For £2, that's a great way to one's memory to go back and actually see him racing in its full glory. It's quite a good thing to do. So,
if you want to relive those glory days. I was gonna just read Fox's little poem that he put together before, and just end it on that, if you wanted. If you've got any more to say?
No, go ahead. No? Absolutely.
It's really hard to do this without like bursting into tears because it's a really sad poem.
It is. It's beautifully written, and kudos to Fox for that.
Yeah, thanks for Fox for doing this. I think he used, like you say, for some of his schoolwork or some of his uni work. So it's just titled Senna. Born under the stars, both green and yellow, the desire for speed before all others. From carts to cars, you fought hard from below. The top was where you would meet your brothers. You left your home and went out to the world, the king of Monaco. The streets were your throne. You wowed the crowd. Your name became unfurled. 6-time winner, an unmatched milestone. At Imola, you went straight into the wall. Not a bruise on your body. One last sigh. A whole nation. A whole people left to brawl. In Morumbi, the final place you lie. From one sacrifice, hundreds have been saved. Nada po mi separar do amor do duis. I think I said it right. And on that, we'll see you next time, guys.
Thank you very much, everybody, as always, for watching. On that note, we'll see you very soon.